Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Hello to everyone attending today's presentation, Blooms and Blossoms Beyond the Bouquet. My name is Mike Williams, and along with my wife Paula and our 4 adult children, own and operate Eagle Song Family Peony Farm. I'd like to welcome you today to snowy Alaska. While the majority of farms are rural by nature, we think Eagle Song takes that to a new level. I'm speaking to you from our farm located in the Alaska bush, some 40 miles from the nearest road at the base of Mount Susitna. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Eagle Song is one of the most remote farms in the United States. Our proximity to Mount Susitna gives us an ideal microclimate for growing peonies in Arctic conditions. I'd like to say that that's by design, but in reality, as you'll see a little bit later, that was purely by chance. Eagle Song averages over 14 feet of snow each winter, and believe it or not, that's a huge advantage. First of all, our snow usually comes in late October and stays until May, which is one of the reasons that we have such a late harvest season, which is usually July, August timeframe. More importantly, though, it provides insulation from the extreme Arctic cold. The coldest we've ever recorded here at Eagle Song in the 26 years we've been here has been 46 below zero Fahrenheit. If it weren't for all that snow cover, our roots would undoubtedly freeze and die. As you could imagine, keeping perennials alive in Alaska is pretty difficult. And fortunately, again, snow for us is the tool that we use to make that happen. Each spring, the snowpack melts. It recharges Trail Lake, which you see in front of you. Trail Lake is our source for irrigation in the dry summer months. We are accessible only by small wheel or float planes in the summer months. This means all our summertime operations involve small planes providing the logistics to move personnel, supplies, and even our harvest to markets. Some might find this complicating an already difficult business. My wife Paula and I have 25 years collectively served in the U.S. Army. I was a logistics and personnel planner, mostly in joint commands over my career, and Paula was an air traffic controller. This brings me to my first point I'd like to make today. Your military training and experience is extremely valuable no matter what you were trained to do. Ours turned what looked to be a handicap, operating such a remote farm, into an asset. We can harvest a peony flower, fly it to our pack house operations strategically located at Anchorage International Airport, and fly it to our customers anywhere in the U.S. and Canada in less than 48 hours. We can act as a fulfillment center for online sellers, accept an order as late as 10 a.m. and have it to a customer by noon the next day. Our training in logistics and air operations helped us become one of the most competitive growers anywhere. That, my friends, is due to our military training and experience. At a minimum, you as a veteran have loads of experience in dealing with bureaucracy. That is a serious plus, and I'll get into that in a little more detail a little later on. The next point I would like to address is it's my experience that a business must constantly evolve. This is especially true if things like climate change continue. After I retired from the Army in 1994, we moved lock, stock, and barrel to backcountry Alaska. In fact, it was our authorized retirement move. So we started Eagle Song Lodge, a traditional wilderness fishing lodge. Over the years, an invasive fish known as northern pike showed up, and it decimated our salmon populations. It's tough running a fishing lodge without fish. After 15 years, we were faced with the closure of our lodge and having to move away or reinvent ourselves. It was time to evolve. It had recently been discovered that peonies not only survive the harsh Alaska conditions, but actually can thrive, and at times when they are being harvested nowhere else in the world. And that's a major marketing point for Alaska peonies. So we studied those findings in the flower industry itself. We created a business plan, we presented it to USDA, got funding help from them, bought and walked in a bulldozer 47 miles across the frozen Alaska wilderness.
Okay,
Now I'm filming simply because we're 3 hours into this. And we're doing 3.5 miles an hour. We've covered 11 miles and we're bored to tears. See? Bored to tears.
The second half of the journey was a little more exciting. There were places where we had to plow out over 12 feet of snow to get through, and at one point we almost submerged the entire dozer, breaking through the ice on one of the streams. But nonetheless, we persisted. 2 days later, we had the dozer in the yard. We helicoptered in a tractor, flew in implements, and planted our first 5,000 peony roots we had shipped up from Vermont in the fall of 2010. Peony farming is a lot like owning a vineyard or an orchard. You plant, you wait, in our case 5 years, for those plants to produce. All through that time, we continued to study and evaluate our business. We will always be students of the business. While we wait... I'm sorry, folks. That rumble was 3 feet of snow deciding to slough off the roof of our kitchen while I was recording this. So as I was saying, while we waited for our plants to mature and produce, we evaluated infrastructure and markets. It led us to create our own pack house to process, market, sell, and ship our own peonies. I'd like to point out that over 95% of our peony harvest is shipped out of state. Small Alaska population and our limited access to local farmers markets means our customer base is much more distant than most. Few of our customers, chain or retail florists or wholesalers, realize that when they call our offices, they're dealing with someone in a log cabin utilizing satellite internet to orchestrate the entire operation of our business. With the advent of COVID, this isn't such an unusual thing anymore. The ability to communicate quickly is critical in the flower industry. We start our day tracking shipments from the previous day at about 5 a.m. Alaska time. If a shipment goes astray, we can determine that early in the day and ship out a replacement order that afternoon if necessary. We're constantly fine-tuning our operations and investigating better ways to accomplish the mission. By the way, our mission is quite simple. It's create a happy customer. Much like the brick-and-mortar retail world, the flower industry is undergoing a massive transformation due to e-commerce. As a flower grower, I must embrace that change. Changes in the industry mean opportunity, especially for those new to the business. Historically, the flower business was selling your harvest to a wholesaler who in turn supplies local florists and grocery outlets. Today, e-commerce has upended the wholesaler, and COVID-19 has hastened the demise of a large number of neighborhood florists. While we at Eagle Song didn't predict the virus having such an impact, we were already evolving as a fulfillment center and embracing farm-to-consumer models. As with most businesses, COVID-19 forced a rather sudden change in direction for us. Florists were considered non-essential. Weddings were postponed, and large gatherings were suspended. Even funerals, where flowers are a traditional part of the service, were turned off. The international flower industry was in a shambles almost overnight. At Eagle Song, we adopted a COVID-19 testing and quarantine protocol for our workers and visitors. We moved more of our operations onto the farm, which was far easier to control than it was in the city. We had tested a nationwide peony subscription program last season. It was promising, so we put our efforts fully behind that program. We took 3 and 6 week subscriptions from the general public and shipped boxes of 25 peonies to those customers each week. We got an unexpected COVID boost by customers embracing home delivery so quickly. While Eagle Song does a robust business selling peony stems and roots, we continue to look at ways to expand our product line. Our Alaska season is very short and intense, a limited window to generate revenue. At this time, we're working on a line of value-added peony products that include jellies and sauces.
So what you doing, Christina?
I am making peony jelly.
And these are from the Shawnee Chief peonies. So it's a beautiful red color. I don't know if it's hard to tell. It just looks like a jewel.
If I can't get my peony bouquets on their table, I want my jelly on their toast. Actually, I want both. The point here is to look at alternative markets and value-added possibilities to extend your season, revenue stream, and overall security of your farm. Next, we're here today because we have embraced the technology that allows us to hold this virtual conference. As a flower farmer, you need to do the same for your farm. Social media is a very significant tool in floriculture. While a consumer may not be interested in different photos of a head of lettuce, I assure you, that is not the case when it comes to flowers. We sell lots of flowers through social media. While we're on the subject of social media, it's a good way to explore and develop some level of agritourism. Every farmer attending this conference can be involved at some level in agritourism. Think about it. 95% of the general public knows nothing about what we do. Now, this is my lodge owner side speaking. People are curious and interested in what you do, and they will pay to experience it. The trick is to figure out how it fits into your business. Don't overlook the opportunity. Let me circle back to a comment I made earlier. You as a veteran have extensive experience in dealing with bureaucracy. I encourage you to seek out opportunities that exist in the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Your local Farm Service Agency, Natural Resource Conservation Service, and many other organizations can assist you in developing your farm. For Eagle Song, we were able to partner with NRCS to design and create a farm-wide drip irrigation system. We were able to secure low-interest funding to install a renewable energy system that now powers over 97% of our farming operations. There are so many opportunities, but you have to be able to navigate the bureaucracy. Those of you that already deal with USDA know exactly what I mean. Next, reduce your risk where you can. Over the past 10 years, Eagle Song has experienced drought, flood, numerous earthquakes, volcanic activity, wildfire, in one day a 46-inch snowstorm, hailstorm, spruce bark beetle infestation, and now COVID. At this point in time, there is very little crop insurance coverage opportunities for flower farmers, but there is some through the Non-Insured Crop Disaster Assistance Program, or NAP. You can learn more on NAP through your Farm Service Agency. Mitigate risk where you can. It comes in all shapes and sizes, and it will come. One last thing I'd like to encourage you to incorporate into your farm, and that is pass on your knowledge and experience to others. Be it fellow veterans, our youth, or general public. We no longer live in an agrarian society, and much of what we do is totally foreign to most people. In our case, we've been involved with the worldwide opportunities on organic farms, or WOLF, and we have hosted dozens of mostly college-age volunteers. It has been a win-win for all of us. We get farm help, mostly unskilled, and we in turn expose the next generation to agricultural and the social responsibility that comes along with it. As a flower farmer, we may not feed the body, but I believe that we nourish the soul. In the year of 2020, I think that's more poignant than ever. Well, that's about all of my time. While most of you won't dedicate your entire farm to growing flowers or navigate agriculture in the Arctic, I hope that you will look closer at some of the points that I've made here today. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions or comments about this presentation, please don't hesitate to contact me at the email address below. I'll be happy to talk with you. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. It was a pleasure being with you today. So long from Alaska.